Hello everyone, welcome to Physics Online Classes. Today I am going to teach the new topic, chapter number 6, System of Particles and Rigid Body. As we have completed laws of motion, work energy power as well as gravitation. So this is the next chapter, System of Particles and Rigid Body, and in today's session I am going to teach introduction part regarding the chapter System of Particles and Rigid Body. So first we can observe the topics to be covered in this chapter. The first point is introduction, second one center of mass, third point, motion of center of mass. Fourth point, linear momentum of a system of particles. You can observe here, linear momentum, this term you already studied in the chapter laws of motion. But here again it is repeated, but it is for system of particles. Then a fifth point, angular velocity. Yes, we studied what is angular displacement, angular velocity, angular acceleration, and in this chapter we are going to derive relation between linear velocity and angular velocity. We already know that linear velocity is denoted by v and angular velocity is denoted by the symbol omega. So let us find relation between linear and angular velocity in this chapter. Then sixth point is torque and angular momentum. Yes, you already studied about linear momentum, but here we are going to study about angular momentum. This is for rotational motion. So torque, again it is also a type of force. But here this torque is applicable for rotational motion. So we are going to consider angular momentum. Then seventh point, equilibrium of a rigid body. We already studied equilibrium of concurrent forces in the chapter laws of motion, but the same point equilibrium here we considered for rigid body. Rigid body contains a large number of particles. The next point, moment of inertia. Yes, again you already studied about inertia in laws of motion, but now this is moment of inertia. That is eighth point. Then a ninth point, rotational kinematics, rotational dynamics, and also about rolling motion we are going to study in this chapter. So these 11 points in detail you are going to study in the chapter System of Particles and Rigid Body. At last we go for numerical problems. This topic is very important because it is the basic chapter, basic fundamentals you are going to study here, and it will be very helpful for your second year theory part. Yes, now let us start with introduction. So first we have to know what is a point object, or which is also called as a particle. Because many times we are using the word particle. Let us consider a particle. So then what is a particle? What is this point object? An object having a certain mass but negligible size. This is called point object. So we are going to say object as a point object, or it is also called as a particle because it is also having certain mass but its size is almost negligible. For example, you can take this is point in size, point O. This is taken as a particle, or it is taken as a point object because it is having certain mass but its size is negligible. So we are going to call it as a particle. Yes, what is particle? An object having certain mass but negligible size is called point object. Then go for extended body, or it is also called as real object. A body of finite size made up of large number of particle. This is called extended body. Point object or a particle means it is very small in size, negligible size. Its size is neglected. So this is point object, right? So these are point object. But extended body or real object means what? This is having a finite size. The size is measurable and this is made up of large number of particle. If I am going to consider this is an object, this object contains a large number of particles. So the combination of large number of particle that gives extended body. This extended body is also called as real object. Then go for internal forces and external forces. Is what it mean? We already know what is a force. Force is a physical quantity which causes motion of an object, which opposes motion of an object, and it opposes or which changes the direction of motion of object, that is called a force. But here we are talking about internal forces and external forces. So what is internal forces? You can observe the heading here, internal. Internal forces, the forces which takes place internally, means inside the object. So object contains a large number of particles. There is always collision takes place between the particles. Right? You can observe here. The forces exerted by the particle of an extended body. So these forces are exerted by the particles which are present in the extended body. If you are going to take this is a body, extended body, it contains a large number of particles and the force is exerted by these particles. These particles will exert force on each other. So this is called internal force. What is internal force? The force exerted by the particles of the extended body on one another. So if I am going to take an object, this is extended body, let us imagine it contains only 4 particles. So now the first particle is going to exert force on the next particle. This is the force applied by first particle to the second particle. Similarly, this second particle will apply force on the first particle, so they cancel each other so that its position do not change for solid bodies or rigid body. Similarly, the third particle will exert force on fourth particle and also the fourth particle exert force on third particle, and it goes on between the particles of the extended body, so they cancel each other and their position remains constant, their size and shape remains constant for rigid body, and these forces are called internal forces. So internal forces are exerted by the particles of the extended body on one another. This is called internal force. The internal force between any two particles are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. You can observe this example. The first particle exert force on second particle in forward direction and second particle exert force on first particle in backward direction. So both are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, hence they cancel each other. Therefore, a force must be applied on the body from outside to move that object. If you want to move this object, if you want to move this extended body, compulsorily we have to apply force from the externally or from outside we have to apply force, because internal forces cancel each other, so your object do not move. Right? Then, what is external force? The force applied on an extended body from outside, and this is called external force. Yes, what is external force? The force applied on an extended body from outside the object, that gives external force. Remember, to move extended body or to move any object, always we have to apply external forces, means the force is applied on the body from outside. The force exerted by the particle from the body inside, it will not move any object, right? Because they cancel each other. This is internal and external forces. Then come to the heading of the chapter, System of Particles and Rigid Body. So first we have to know what is the system of particle as well as rigid body. System of particle, a collection of large number of interacting particles, is known as system of particle. If I am going to consider this is one system. This system contains a large number of particles. These particles are interacting with each other, means they are exerting force on each other. This is called a system of particles. What is system of particle? A collection of large number of interacting particles. This is known as system of particle. For example, a stone. Stone means it is a rigid body or it is a solid substance which contains large number of particles, and remember its size and shape do not changes because it is a solid where the particles are interacting with each other. The particles are exerting force on each other, but they are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, so they cancelled each other and its shape size remains constant. The second example, a ball and the earth, molecule. So these all are what? System of particle. You can take molecule. Molecule, it contains again a large number of particles. You can take molecule contains atoms. Atoms contains electrons, protons and neutrons and so on. So this is one system, and that system contains a large number of particles. In general, we are going to call them as system of particles. Right? Stone is also a system of particle. Ball is also a system of particle. So why we are going to call it as a system of a particle? Because it is a system. It contains a large number of interacting particles. So for study purpose, it is easy to understand the concept. So in general, we are using the term system of particles. Then come to the second term, rigid body. The term itself says that a rigid body means a solid, a body which does not undergo change in shape and size when external forces are applied on it. When you applied external forces on the body where its size and shape does not changes, then we can call it as rigid body. Yes, what is rigid body? A body which does not undergo any change in shape and size when external forces are applied on it. If I am going to take the example of a ball, this is a ball. This is a system of particle. It contains a large number of interacting particle. Now I am going to apply force from outside. We can take the example of a ball. So this is a ball. It contains a large number of interacting particles. This is a system of particle. Now I am going to apply on this ball a force from the outside. External force we are going to apply on the ball. Now what happens? The ball size and shape does not changes, but it starts to move. It will change its position, but its shape and size remains constant when external force is applied. So this is called a rigid body. A body which does not undergo any change in shape and size when external forces are applied on it, and this is called rigid body. The distance between any two particles of a rigid body remains same under the application of external force. So when we applied force externally, the particles inside this system of particle or inside this ball, that remains constant. Distance between the particles always remains constant. The distance between the particles does not changes because they are constantly fixed at a certain position. They are not changing their position, so that the distance between two particles remains constant when we applied force externally. So this is called rigid body, system of particles and rigid body. What is system of particle? A collection of large number of interacting particles. These are called system of particles. And what is rigid body? A body which does not undergo change in shape and size when external forces are applied on it. And this is called rigid body. Then come to the next part, motion of rigid body. So when we applied force on the rigid body, how the rigid body can move, that we can study. Motion of rigid body. A body can have either translational motion or rotational motion due to the application of external force. That means on this rigid body, when you applied force externally, so this rigid body may be having translational motion or that may be having rotational motion due to the application of external force. Translational motion means linear motion. This rigid body may be moving in a straight line or that may be rotating along the fixed axis. For example, this is a ring. When we applied force on the ring, this ring starts to move in forward direction. So this is called translational motion. Suppose if one axis is fixed to the ring, let us consider xy axis is fixed to the ring and now I am going to apply force. What happens? This ring do not change its position from one point to another point. Instead of that, it starts to rotate like this. So that gives a rotational motion. So that's why this rigid body is having two types of motion and they are translational motion and rotational motion. About translational motion and rotational motion, we can study one by one in detail. The first one is translational motion of a rigid body. The motion of rigid body is said to be translational if it moves on a horizontal surface such that every constituent particle of the body has same velocity and same acceleration. Yes, we can take one example for translational motion. Let us consider this is object. It contains a large number of particles. Now we are going to apply force on this object externally. So when we applied force externally, this object has translational motion, means linear motion. This object starts to move in a straight line in forward direction. But when it comes to this system, it contains large number of particles. So all these particles also start to move, right? So when these particles start to move, so that the system is itself shifted here. Again the system is shifted here. In this way the process go on. When it comes to the velocity of these particles, all the particles are moving with the same velocity. For example, if I am going to apply 10 Newton force and let us imagine there are 10 particles in the system. How many particles are there in the system? 10 particles and we applied 10 Newton force. So when you applied 10 Newton force on the system contains 10 particles. So each particle will get how much force? Each particle will get 1 Newton force. So when each particle get the same force, then each particle start to move with the same velocity. That's why this translational motion, during this motion, the all particles are having same velocity and acceleration because each particle acquires same force. The external applied force is equally distributed to each particle of the system. So now all the particles are moving with the same velocity. So that gives a translational motion. So what is a translational motion? The motion of a rigid body is said to be translational if it moves on a horizontal surface such that every constituent particles of the system has same velocity and acceleration. So why each particle is having same velocity? Because the applied force is equally distributed to each particle of the system. So they are moving with the same velocity and it constitutes a translational motion. Then come to the second type and that is a rotational motion of a rigid body, a rotational motion. Then how to define a rotational motion? The motion of a rigid body is said to be rotational if it moves about a fixed line such that every particle of the body moving in a circle with its center on the line. So, for rotational motion, remember always the object has to fixed to certain axis of rotation. So, let us consider this is an object. This object is fixed to axis. This is axis here. Let us consider XY axis. It is fixed here. When we applied force on the ring, so this ring starts to rotate. It starts to move in a circular path. Right? If you can take another example, here axis may be passing through this object like this. It is passing through the object. When you apply the force from any direction, there is no translational motion. Instead of that, this object starts to move in a circular path. Right? Every particle of the body moving in a circular path, and this gives a rotational motion of a rigid body. Yes, rotational motion of a rigid body means motion of a rigid body is said to be rotational if it moves about a fixed axis, about a fixed line such that every particle of the body moving in a circle with its center on the line. So this gives a rotational motion. For a rotational motion, we need fixed axis, and that axis generally we can call it as axis of rotation. If that object is free from axis, if it is completely free, then it will gain translational motion when you applied external force. That's why a rigid body has two types of motion, and they are translational motion and rotational motion. Translational motion means what? It is moving on a horizontal surface and each particle is having same velocity. Then rotational motion means the body is moving about a fixed axis such that every particle of the body is moving in a circular path with its center on the line. So this is the two types of motion of rigid body. Then some important note points related to system of particle and rigid body we can observe one by one. The first point, in pure translational motion, at any instant of time, all particles of the body have same velocity. Yes, so when object has translational motion, when you applied external force, this object is moving on a horizontal surface and the particles are moving with same velocity. And here at any instant you can check it here, all the particles of the body are having same velocity. Then second point, any particle lying on the axis of rotation remains at rest while the rigid body rotates about the axis of rotation. Thus, axis of rotation is fixed here. The second point, you can observe any particle if it is lying on the axis of rotation. So this is an object and this is axis of rotation. XY is taken as axis of rotation. So if any particle lying on this axis that remains at rest while the rigid body rotates about the axis of rotation. Thus axis of rotation is fixed here. It means the axis is not moving. The particles lying on the axis are also at rest. Only this part is moving in a circular path. This axis is not moving. This axis is at rest. The particles lying on this axis that remains rest while this rigid body rotates about the axis of rotation. That's why this axis of rotation is always fixed and it do not change its position. The particles lying on the axis is always at rest and it is at constant position. Only this rigid body starts to rotate. Right? Then, what is axis of rotation? It is the fixed line about which the rigid body rotates. This is called axis of rotation. So if this is object and here this is axis of rotation xy. So this is a fixed line about which the rigid body rotates is called axis of rotation. Then next point, the movement of the axis of the top around the vertical is called precession. So precession means it is a combination of rotational motion and spin motion about a given axis of rotation. What is precession? Precession is the combination of both rotational motion and spinning motion. For example, spinning top, or you can take oscillating table fan. You can observe oscillating table fan or spinning top. You can take these two examples. Here you can observe the object is rotating, means it has rotational motion, and also it is spinning about the given axis of rotation. So here the axis which is exactly at the top of the object, it is always moving. Precession, here the movement of axis takes place. So here we are going to call it as precession. Most of the time axis of rotation is fixed to certain position. But in some cases, for example, you can take a table fan or spinning top. In these cases, you can observe on the top always there is an axis and that axis has movement. The movement of axis of the top around the vertical, this is called precession, or it can also be defined as precession is the combination of rotational motion as well as spinning motion about a given axis of rotation. It is having both rotational motion as well as spinning motion. So this is called precession. Then center of mass. What is a center of mass and what is center of gravity? The center of mass of a rigid body. What is rigid body? Rigid body contains a large number of interacting particles whose size and shape does not changes when external force is applied. So the center of mass of a rigid body is a point at which the whole mass of a body is supposed to be concentrated. So we can take the example, this is an object. This object contains large number of particles, right? It contains large number of particles. Let us imagine it contains 10 particles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let us imagine this is a rigid body. Rigid body contains 10 particles. And let us consider the mass of this object is 10 gram. Mass of the object is 10 gram. Each particle mass will be how much? Each particle will get 1 gram mass. Mass of each particle is 1 gram. Total mass is how much? 10 gram. So when you are going to measure weight or mass of this object exactly at the center of the object. So when you measure exactly at the center of the object, exactly at the center, always the mass of the object is equal to how much? 10 gram. Either you can take each particle masses or you can take total mass of the object exactly at the center, because all the particles are going to concentrate. They are supposed to concentrate at the center. So 1 gram, 1 gram. So all the masses of the particle will be added at the center, and this point is called center of mass. What is the center of mass? The center of mass of a rigid body is a point at which the whole mass of a body is supposed to be concentrated. The complete mass of a body is concentrating at the center. So we can call it as center of mass. Then center of gravity. The center of gravity of a rigid body, it is also a point at which the whole, instead of mass, we have to take weight here. The whole weight of a body is supposed to be concentrated. because we know that weight is a product of mass and acceleration due to gravity. W equal to what? mg. It depends on mass as well as gravitational force, acceleration due to gravity. So here we have to consider weight. So what is center of gravity? The center of gravity of a rigid body, it is a point at which the whole weight of the body is supposed to be concentrated. If complete weight is concentrated at the center is called center of gravity. If complete mass of a body is concentrated at the center is called center of mass. Center of mass and center of gravity. Yes, what is center of mass? Center of mass of a rigid body, it is a point at which the whole mass of a body is supposed to be concentrated, and in the center of gravity, the whole weight of a body is supposed to be concentrated. Then, note point. First one, if acceleration due to gravity means small g, acceleration due to gravity is the same at different parts of a body, then center of mass and center of gravity are identical. It means the same. Center of mass, center of gravity, both are identical, both are same only when acceleration due to gravity at each part of a body if it is same. So let us consider this is a object. It contains large number of particles. So let us consider exactly at the center we are having center of mass as well as center of gravity. Right? So, center of mass, center of gravity, both are same, both are at the same point only when acceleration due to gravity g value, that is equal to how much? 9.8 meter per second square. If this value is same at different parts of a body. Now I am going to check acceleration due to gravity at this corner. Here also it is small g, means 9.8. At this part is also it is 9.8. At this part is also it is 9.8. If at each point of the object, if acceleration due to gravity is the same, then center of mass, center of gravity, both are identical. Then second point, for an ordinary body, center of mass, center of gravity coincide with each other most of the time. For ordinary bodies, center of mass, center of gravity, both are at the center, they coincide with each other. Then third point, in an extended body, mass is distributed in space. In an extended body means if this is extended body, so the mass is distributed like this, means it contains large number of particles. Due to this, acceleration due to gravity is different at different parts. So in extended body, what they are saying here? So here in extended body, acceleration due to gravity is not the same at each point. So it is different at each point of the body. Therefore, for the extended body, center of mass, center of gravity do not coincide. Center of mass, center of gravity, both are not going to coincide for extended body, but it can coincide for any ordinary body. Right? Then, fourth point, center of mass is a point at which the total force can be supposed to act. See here, if I am going to take a box, this is one object, it contains large number of particles. I am going to apply force at one corner. If I applied force at one corner, so this part is only shifted like this. Right? Suppose if you applied force at the second corner, so again it will be shifted like this. If you exactly applied force at the center of the body, the whole body is shifted here. That indicates at the center of the object, means at the center of mass, the total force is always acting. It is supposed to be act at the center. Then, fifth point, in a circular ring, this is a circular ring. The center of mass, this is the center of mass, is at the center of the ring. In a circular ring, always center of mass is exactly at the center of the ring. This is also center of the ring. This is also center of mass. Both are at the same point in a circular ring. So this is all about the introduction part regarding the chapter System of Particles and Rigid Body. In today's session, we studied what is point or what is point object, what is extended object, what is a system of particle, what is rigid body, what are the two types of motion of rigid body, and translational, rotational, axis of rotation with some examples. So in the next session, we can study about the center of mass equation.